Health and safety, health and safety, health and safety. Boring, boring, boring.
Stop.
What?
Health and safety isn't boring, it's really important.
Well, it may be important to you, but it's still boring. I mean, our stores are hardly the most dangerous places to work, are they? What's the worst that can happen to you? Trip over a DVD?
Hang on a minute. What do you think the most dangerous thing in a game store is?
Let me see. Is it Grand Theft Auto?
Fire! Fire! There are lots of different things we need to know about dealing with fire. I mean, firstly, we don't want to cause a fire.
Obviously.
Yeah, OK then. So what are the usual causes? Faulty wiring, unsafe plugs, discarded cigarette ends?
All the obvious reasons, then.
Yeah, but they're all things that we can look out for.
OK, but what if we see a fire that's already started? What are we supposed to do then? Get out, stay out, call us out.
If you see a fire, you shouldn't panic. Set off the alarm, call the fire brigade and get out of the building. Inform security and, if appropriate, the shopping centre.
OK, but what if I want to tackle the fire?
Well, still set off the alarm first. And then only if it's a small fire, and only if you're trained to use an extinguisher should you use one. There are different types of extinguishers for different types of fire. And if you use the wrong one, it could be very, very serious.
Very, very serious.
Yeah, like you could die, OK?
How?
Well, take this fire extinguisher. It's full of water. Ideal for putting out organic fires like burning carpet or cardboard and paper. Now, if you use that on an electrical fire, you'd stand a good chance of being electrocuted. This is serious, though. Different fire extinguishers are used for different types of fire. Now, if you don't know which one to use or you don't feel confident enough to tackle a fire on your own, then don't even try. Just get out of the building and call the fire brigade.
OK, I got it.
All new fire extinguishers are red and have a colour-coded strip on them. Older types are a single colour. The colour tells us what's inside them. So if they're completely red, they're water extinguishers. These are the most common and you use them for burning paper, wood and plastics. You can't use them on liquid or gas fires. You can't use them on electrical fires. Foam extinguishers have a cream colour band. They're better than water ones because they can also put out petrol or paraffin fires. Powder extinguishers have a blue band. They're often called a multi-purpose extinguisher because they can put out paper, wood, plastic, petrol, paraffin and gas fires. CO2 carbon dioxide are black and are ideal for electrical fires. They can be used for other types of fire as well, but because of the way they work, there's always a danger of a fire relighting itself after you stop extinguishing it.
This is all getting a bit confusing.
Yeah, well, it needed be. You just need to familiarise yourself with all the extinguishers in your building.
So, if I see a fire, first I have to weigh up what needs to be done, then I set off the fire alarm, get the fire extinguisher, choosing the one that suits the fire.
Yeah, and if you've only got a foam or a water extinguisher and you suspect the fire to be caused by something electrical, if you have any doubt at all, don't tackle the fire.
OK, so this is my fire extinguisher. Let's say this is an imaginary fire.
Right.
Right, so I pull out the pin, point the nozzle, stand well back and squeeze the trigger handle. Then the fire goes out, right?
Nearly. You just have to point the nozzle at the bottom of the fire to where the fire is starting from. Now don't get too close, and if you think the fire is getting out of hand, you should just get out.
But I would have already set off the alarm before I decided to tackle it, yeah?
Right.
And when you work here in head office,
Or at the distribution centre.
yeah, the same thing applies. There are fire extinguishers and fire blankets all around these buildings. But if you're not sure what to do with them, then set off the fire alarm and get out. The fire brigade will respond immediately to deal with it.
Right. So, we've got a fire, a real one, and I've decided to get out. So I just run to the door, yeah?
Well, nearly.
Oh, go on.
Well, you've got to get out and you've got to get out quick. But we're a service business. We've got to look after our customers and our colleagues.
You know, that sounds like a load of old corporate...
Yes, thank you. So let's just say you're in the shop
Right.
and there's a fire. You don't just leg it to the nearest exit, trampling over customers as you go.
Right.
You move to the customers and ask them firmly to make their way to the exit.
OK.
OK? Now, you probably know where all your colleagues are at any one time, so you just got to keep an eye on each other. I mean, no one's expecting you to, rush into the building and rescue people.
Good.
OK? But, once you're out, stay out, and if you're not all there, make sure you tell the fire brigade.
And crucially, you better check that all the exits are clear.
Well, that is a worry. I mean, lots of people use fire exits as extra places to store stock, or more particularly, new deliveries. It's the most dangerous thing you can do. try and imagine you're in the back of the shop and there's a fire in the store. I mean, where are you meant to go if there's a pallet load of stock in front of the fire exit?
Gives you the shivers.
Yeah, well, it should do, Colin, because being trapped is very scary. And it's not just stock. People forget to unlock the fire exits all the time. I mean, this is the duty manager's responsibility, but everyone should still check. It should be part of the opening up process in the morning. Unlock the fire exits.
Too right. I've also seen these notices explaining the evacuation procedure. They seem like a really good idea, but I doubt if most of us ever read them.
The fire evacuation procedure is unique for every location, whether you're in a store, head office or the distribution centre. Now if you're in a shopping centre like this, it'll have its own evacuation procedure, well worth knowing. Now you should have been for your evacuation procedure on your induction training.
But what about here?
When the fire alarm goes off, you get out. There's a clear buildings policy, which means there are wardens and marshals whose job it is to make sure that every area of the building is clear.
But where does everybody go?
Well, the evacuation point is behind Delta House.
Sounds like a sensible idea.
Yeah, it is.